In the end, all we have is our stories, which is why wineries around Malibu are helping people write their own.
You're in that sense of place. You're in this little plot of land that I can taste the terroir, I can taste the weather pattern that happened that year, I can taste all of that. Now there's a story.
Cornell winery owner Tim Skogstrom is wanting to use wine to help others create their stories. Tim focuses on the stories of where the wines come from and how they're impacting Malibu. He opened the Cornell Wine Tasting Room in 2007 with the support of Tom and Morgan Runyon. The Runyons owned the Old Place Steakhouse next to Cornell, and today it's considered one of the top steakhouses in LA. Malibu's viticulture has expanded greatly over the past 50 years. The Malibu coast is actually California's oldest wine region, and the first wines in the area date back to the 1800s. Even just 10 years ago, the wine growers in the area were stuck in the early stages of winemaking. But now, Malibu is home to roughly 50 wineries, many of which are family-owned and small-scale. However, there are a select few that are open to the public for wine tasting. Those that are available to outside visitors have a type of monopoly over the tasting rooms in the area. One of Malibu's most famous tasting rooms is Rosenthal. Rosenthal, the Malibu Estate wines, are grown up in the hills of Malibu and was designated its very own American viticulture area, Malibu Newton Canyon AVA. But Rosenthal's tasting room is located several miles away along PCH. Visitors can't miss the iconic table and chairs, complete with a huge bottle of wine. In fact, that's one thing that draws the most customers to Rosenthal. The tasting room manager, Philip Kavanaugh, said that it was a complete accident, but the best accident to happen to the tasting room.
I suppose Instagram would be the main one. Facebook, less so. Yelp is a useful tool, but Instagram's an interesting one because basically you're getting your customers to write your story for you.
Social media is becoming an increasingly popular way for wineries in Malibu to promote their business. If you search Rosenthal wines on Instagram, there are many pictures featuring both the gigantic chairs as well as trendy pictures at the tasting room. Rosenthal prides itself on being unlike any other wine tasting room here in Malibu. They bring both the fun of the party and the laid-back atmosphere of the beach along PCH. According to Kavanaugh, sites such as Instagram, Facebook, and Yelp help draw tourists into Rosenthal.
And then Yelp is kind of a default thing where people do a quick check just to see if you're legit or not.
While Cornell and Rosenthal are using the wines and social media to tell their story, Malibu Wines is taking another route. The biggest hit of Malibu Wines is the Malibu Wine Safari. On the safari, visitors can see dozens of exotic animals that call the hills of Malibu their home. Stanley the giraffe is the most famous member of the Malibu Wine Safari, and everybody wants to meet him. It costs nearly $100 to meet Stanley, but people are willing to fork over that money for the perfect picture. Tickets to the safari frequently sell out, and guests are quick to take to social media to tell their own stories and experiences. Tim Skogstrom still believes that the most important thing for Malibu wineries to do is stay true to their local roots.
It's going to be a lot different than something like Kendall Jackson Syrah, which they make 10 million cases of, and it comes from all over California. They got to go and source fruit and juice and everything from all these different places just to fill the demand.
You can create your own story in Malibu, or you can use the wines from Malibu to help tell whatever story you desire.
And then when we go back and we have memorials, and now all of a sudden we're drinking a wine that was made that same year, now that story can be connected to that wine continually year and year and year after year.
Reporting for NewsWaves 32, I'm Marissa Martin.